afternoon, or perhaps even good evening. My name is Erik van Veenendaal. I'm the lead author of the section Improving the Test Process of the new advanced level test management syllabus. In the next 15 minutes or so, I will run you through what's in this section, what's the added value, what are the benefits for attending this new syllabus in that context. First of all, if we look at this, of course, if you're testers, you all know that there are new technologies, sometimes there is complexity, there are all kinds of challenges. There are always bugs and sometimes even in production. So with these challenges, with too many bugs or things happening, there is, I would say, a need to also look at and consider how can we improve? How can we become more effective? How can we be more efficient? How can we do security testing, whatever the goals are? So this is mainly, I would say, the major reason for introducing this section in the syllabus. If we look at the syllabus more in detail, the section Improve the Test Process, there is what we call a business objective. So what are we trying to teach you once you've actually done the course? We would like you to be able to lead test improvement activities in your project, in your team, in your stream, so locally. Secondly, we would like you to be able to contribute to test process activities taking place on an organizational level. And as you can see here, we have 4 learning objectives. We teach you the ideal model, which is a model how to do test process improvement. You might say the stepwise approach. We talk about model-based improvements, things like TPI Next and TMI. We talk about analytical improvements, which is about data and measurements. And finally, this is a K3, so it's a very important one. We teach you how to implement retrospectives in your team, in your project, in your stream. In total, 105 minutes. And we have 4 exam questions in the end. 2 on the K2s and 2 also on the K3s. Of course, 105 minutes is not very much. So we will touch on some topics. And we'll also refer in the syllabus, but also maybe in the course, that there is much more information available. And one of the major sources for that is the expert level syllabus, expert level course for improving the test process, which is also available through ISTQB. If we now go, and I will go and run you through what you will teach, what you will learn for model-based, for analytical-based, and also touch briefly upon the retrospective. Of course, in model-based improvement, this is, I think, we're trying to teach you, the assumption is that product quality is highly influenced by the quality of processes being used and applied. Typically, these models are built on best practices. Best practices, best testing practices from about the globe. And using that, you can get a stepwise manner to become more mature as an organization or as a project. Important, in the syllabus, in the course, we will teach you how to apply these models at project level. Interesting enough, there's been a study recently by the TMI Foundation showing that those doing TMI or those doing model-based improvement, 94% state they have improved their product quality. So the assumption is, you might say, it is proven to be correct in practice. Let's look at what we teach and which models are being taught in the syllabus. As you can see, there are 2 test improvement models. One is TMI, the other one is TPI Next. Those are, I think, the 2 leading ones in the world. One is TPI Next, more continuous. The other one, TMI, is a stage model, so there's some differences. With TMI, 78% of the users are actually applying it in an agile context. So there's also a document, TMI and Agile, how to apply TMI in an agile context. This is also part of the syllabus and learning. The next one, so after model-based improvement, is analytical-based improvement. And this is much more about numbers and data, basically getting data from your project, getting data from your team, and based on that, identifying problems. So basically the improvements are based on analysis of the problems based on the data. Some of the improvements and some of the methods are what we call quantitative, so metrics and numbers, and some retrospectives are more qualitative, and what is right, what is wrong. That's a different approach. So what we're trying to teach again is not every method or every technique in detail. We're trying to show you what is available for you to apply in your project, in your team, to do some test improvements. If we look at analytical based, there are basically 3 methods that we're trying to teach. Maybe familiar, maybe not familiar. We will talk about root cause analysis, talking about, hey, there's a failure somewhere, a bug. So what's the defect? What's the error? You know all these things from foundation, hopefully. And basically, what is the root cause? So what are the things you have to address to prevent the failure from happening in the future? We'll talk about metrics, measures, and indicators. Metrics is about what do we measure? How do we measure? Then measures is the real number, and indicator, what does it mean in a context? And finally, we also introduced GQM, the goal, question, metric approach, which is about how do we find the right metrics? We have knowledge goals, we have improvement goals, all these things we will cover in the course to give you an overview from. And as I said already, last but certainly not least, we will talk, and not only talk, there will be exercises on that. And this is the real, I would say, most important part of the section. We'll talk about retrospectives. We'll teach you retrospectives, but also you will learn how to implement this in your team, in your project. Because I think most of you know that in agile context, this is probably the most important method used for improvement. So we talk about what is successful, what can be improved. It's very much bottom up, and we can look at all kinds of things, as you can see already, at test case quality, test effectiveness, definition of done, all these things together. So in summary, in this section, 105 minutes, we will show you methods which are available for model-based improvement. We will show you methods that are available for analytical-based improvement, so you know what's available and can thinking about it, which ones are best to use in my context. We'll focus for both model-based and analytical-based on how to do it in your project. And finally, we will teach you how to use retrospectives and how to implement them to evaluate test processes, also to improve your test process. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your attention.